Hello, welcome along. This is episode 64 of Adventures in Pop. My name is Simon Jacobs, and it is delightful to have you along for another adventure. What I'd like to talk about today is some new music. I would like to talk a little bit about the problems I have with genres, with Spotify, trying to work out what on earth all their thousands of genres are, and there literally are thousands of them. But first of all, I think we need to talk about Kate Bush. Well, if you're in the UK, you will have just had a few days of celebrating 70 years of Her Majesty. I'm not quite sure what Her Majesty's been doing other than having sandwiches with Paddington Bear, but there's been a lot of partying and we're just coming to the end of that now. So anyway, I hope you've had a lovely, lovely weekend. But that's not really the reason I'm here. Let's start with Kate Bush. You probably are aware of this already, but it's a really extraordinary thing that's happened for her, which is that after apparently quite a lot of toing and froing, because she doesn't do this very often, she allowed Running Up That Hill, her hit from Hounds of Love in 1985, to be included in the TV series Stranger Things. And, and a strange thing has happened, which is basically Kate has gone viral. And I don't mean she's, wrapped up in bed with a bottle of night nurse. I mean, she's in the charts, not just in this country, in the UK, but Running Up the Hill is, I think, the number one global Spotify most streamed kind of viral hit for global. I mean, the whole planet. Certainly in the States and here in the UK, she is streaming, millions a day. And as she herself apparently has said in a statement, she's very excited because she's reaching a whole new audience. So listen, this is really all I want to say is, if you're a bit younger than me, if you're in your 20s or 30s or not even in your 20s yet, you might be a bit hazy about who this blooming Kate Bush woman is and why the fuss. So I just want to say this. I mean, I'm not going to do a full appreciation of Ms. Bush's work because we'd be here basically for a week or so, maybe another time, and I'd have to really work at keeping it, abridged. But she's a phenomenal and I would say unique, slightly eccentric English pop star, singer-songwriter, artist, whatever it is, again, genres, whatever it is, you want to, however you want to label her. But she is blooming fantastic. And if you are not really familiar with, her work, her albums, then please, use the opportunity of discovering Running Up That Hill being used in Stranger Things as a good excuse to go and check her out. Because although I would say Running Up the Hill is one of her most remarkable tracks, there's plenty more. If you're not sure where to start, I would say go to, Hounds of Love, which is the album with Running Up That Hill. I would say go to the first album, Kick Inside, Never Forever, and even one of her more recent albums, the beginning of the noughties, Ariel, which I think is also fantastic. But you'll just find treasures all over the place in terms of her back catalogue, and it would be well worth your time. So I'm just basically giving a big shout out to the fabulous Kate Bush, because she is really marvellous, and I'm really glad to see Running Up the Hill doing so well. So that's very exciting. Now, elsewhere in the world of pop, you will also be aware that the Abba shows have begun. They have started. They have opened to actually rave reviews. I've got to be honest. I was a little unsure as to how it's going to be received, but very well received, I think, is the answer. I heard somebody on the radio talking about going to one of the very early, maybe the very first Abba show, and he was sitting behind Abba. So think about it. Abba turned up on the first night to, to be there, kind of like the premiere of their, very, very kind of, you know, out there, futuristic set of concerts. So he was sitting behind Abba, the members of Abba, who were there watching Abba performing. It's weird, isn't it? It's a little bit odd. And apparently, one of them got up and went to the toilet. That's all I know. I mean, that's not very exciting, actually, is it? Really? I mean, I suppose everyone, needs to answer the call of nature. I don't know why that even got mentioned. But anyway, watching ABBA, I do think is really rather kind of, meta, isn't it? It's a bit strange. But that's the future. And a lot of people have really loved it. And, apparently you forget that you're watching an avatar. I think they call them avatars. Fairly quickly, particularly if you really, really, really love them. Now, look, my friend Ian is going to be going to that very same show at the end of June, and I'm going to be begging him to make himself available to me, to us, so we can find out from him, because he will be brutally honest as to what he made of an evening with the avatars. I also just want to have a chat about a new song that I have recently completed. One of those songs where, I quite like it when it's finished, and then I go on to the next thing, and a few weeks goes by, and then I go back to it. In this case, I went back to it and thought, oh, actually, I've slightly dismissed this unfairly. It's not that bad. I think I just went on to something else straight away. So I've written a song called Hay Fever. Now, the words I had sitting around for some time, not able to find some music to go with them. And I kind of always like the words because they're a bit mischievous, I suppose. I'll come on to that in a moment. But I think the thing that spurred me on with this is that I really love this Afro-beat type vibe that many tracks have these days, and they're doing really well. It's not brand new. It's been around a little while, and it's definitely a genre, and this is where I'm kind of getting into my genre thing. So I'm looking at these Afrobeat tracks, and I picked out one. When I talked about my favourite tracks of last year, there was this track by a Nigerian artist called CK, and I absolutely adored that song. And it's the feel, it's the vibe, it's the rhythm, it's the mood on that track. And I thought, well, I wonder if I can do that. Can I recreate that in some way? And then I found some samples of, I think, actually Afrobeat rhythm, and I thought, well, look, if I start with a good, solid Afrobeat rhythm and start trying to build something around that, and listen as a reference to some of those Afrobeat tracks, I can't go far wrong, can I? Now, this is really interesting because I think I can't go far wrong, but I might be fooling myself if I think that the upshot is that I've created an Afrobeat track, because I don't think I have. I think I've started with something that's a bit Afrobeaty, and then because I'm me, it goes off in a certain direction. And even if I'm trying to be true to a particular sound and a particular vibe, it's really hard. I mean, so at the end of it, I kind of think, oh, I've got something quite interesting here, and it's different because I've started in a different place. I've tried to follow what I think seem to be the kind of the rules of the mood of Afrobeat, but I think I'd be a bit of an idiot to say, I've created an Afrobeat track, and well, I'm going to play it to you so you can be the judge of that. So, first of all, let me just tell you this thing about genres. When you release something, particularly to Spotify, but I think everyone wants to know this, and this is because of playlists and trying to get a track labeled so that it kind of goes in with a bunch of other tracks that sort of seem to be the same. There's a kind of that idea that if you like this, then you're going to like this, this, and this, and this, and this, which I've never quite really backed, but you know, it's not a stupid idea. It's just I'm not absolutely certain it's that foolproof. Anyway, it becomes then really important when you are pitching your track to Spotify editors that you are able to say what genre it is, and you're given a couple of you're given a couple of opportunities. You don't have to stick with one genre. It could be a bit of this and a bit of this and a bit of this. That's fine. But Spotify now have, I think apparently something like, they recognise something in the region of 4,000 or 5,000 genres, and most of them, I don't know what the bloomin' heck they are. So there are some really strange ones, and so I have a problem of, I release a track and I'm thinking, oh, I quite like this. I wonder if I wonder if Spotify will like this. And then at the very first hurdle, I'm trying to work out what it is that I've done, and is it just, see, I could call everything pop, but I think that's a bit broad, isn't it? And certainly Spotify aren't calling everything pop. They're using these bizarre genres, and I haven't got all of them, at my fingertips here. But maybe next time I actually go in and pitch something to the editors, I should make a note of some of the crazier genres they got, because, I mean, you wouldn't know what they are as much as I really don't think anyone knows what they are, apart from some person at Spotify who's probably invented them. It's just mind-boggling, really. So I'm probably, can you imagine? It's like, I've got all this music, but nobody's going to listen to it because I don't know what genre it is. It's a bit frustrating, isn't it? Anyway, so this Afro-beat thing is a real case in point, isn't it? Because I don't think it's Afro-beat. I could call it that. I don't think it is. It's kind of poppy. It's a bit soulful. And if you listen to some of the Afro-beat music that's around at the moment, I would say it's very melancholy. It's all kind of minor keys. It's all delivered with, very beautiful kind of plaintive singing. It all sounds sad and rather gorgeous. I think that's why I'm attracted to it in the first place. It just sounds really gorgeously sad. So look, I'm going to start by just playing you the rhythm that I'm using, and then I'll build up a little bit some of the kind of bits and pieces, because the other thing on these Afrobeat tracks that I'm listening to, they've got lots of just quirky noises, beats, voices, just things that create a mood, a vibe of, something quite melancholy. So that is just an open door to me. I love any of that. Anything that sounds a bit miserable, I'm right there. So let me start by just giving you a bit of rhythm, and as I say, I'll add a few of the kind of sounds to it, the vibes to it, so you can see kind of where I was going at the start. So that's my Afrobeat rhythm sample. Let's add a bit of bass to that. Oops, let's not get my fingers in it. Where's the bass? Then some of these lovely noises. Bit of guitar, that was very important. Let's go back to the beginning of that. A little bit more kind of electronic pad sound. And that's what you've got going on before the voice comes in. I'll leave the voices out for time being. Got a little bit more percussion as we get to this chorus section. Let's bring that in here. And then over here, as we come out of the chorus into the second verse, we add in these parts at the bottom here. basically what the song is about is that in the story of this song, something bad's happened. I keep crying, and I'm blaming my tears, my endless tears, on having hay fever. That's the joke. It's like one joke, isn't it? It's not that funny, but it just creates a bit of fun. So I've talked before about how sometimes my songs sound like they're bubbly confections, but actually, when you really listen to them, the words, they're dark and tragic. This is almost the other way around. So it sounds melancholy and moody. When you listen to the words, it's actually quite frivolous, because I'm just having this joke about, hay fever. So let me just give you a few of the words of hay fever. Tears come easy down my cheek, they get in the way when I try to speak. I can't do anything, even if I try. I can't watch the TV without starting to cry. I think you know the reason why. That's a verse, and the chorus is hay fever. You're my brand new best friend. Thanks to you, I can pretend that all my symptoms are here to last. I tell them I'm allergic to pollen and grass. Hey, and then there's another chorus. Hay fever, you're my greatest alibi. Thanks to you, I tell a little white lie. Moving on, I know I must, but I tell everyone I'm allergic to pollen and dust. There we go. It's a giggle, isn't it? Now, actually, I completed the song. I played it to Johnny, he of Rothman and Jacobs, and he quite rightly pointed out to me that my choruses were going on too long. Now, this is really, at the time you just think, oh, for goodness sake, can't you be just patient and listen to lots of chorus? But he was completely right, and I halved the choruses, and the song is a lot better for it. And sometimes you need that critical friend who just listens to it and says immediately, yeah, it's all right, but it's too long. And he was right. So it did need a little bit of careful editing. So look, I would like to leave you with this track, Hay Fever. I think it probably won't be on the next album, because I think I've already filled up all the tracks, but some point in the future it will probably come back around, and so you'll have heard it first, and I'll just give you the lyrics here in a very simple lyrics video, and I'd love to know what you think. Most of all, I'd love to know what you think the bloomin' genre is. And in the meantime, I'll leave you with this, and I'll be back very soon, because at the end of this week, the new Rothman and Jacobs single Midnight Rider is finally going to be released. Now, it'll be the fourth of the Rothman and Jacobs singles, so that is extremely exciting, and that's out the end of the week. I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Take care. Tears come easy down my cheek. They get in the way when I try to speak. I can't do anything even if I try. I can watch TV without starting to cry. And I think you know the reason why. I think you know the reason why. Hey fever, you're my brand new best friend. Thanks to you, I can pretend that all my symptoms, they're here to last. I tell them I'm allergic to pollen and grass. My eyes are swollen, bloodshot red. Anyone would think I've been to bed. I can't do anything, even if I try. It doesn't take much these days to make me cry. And I think you know the reason why. I think you know the reason why. Hey fever, you're my greatest alibi. Thanks to you, I tell a little white lie. Moving But I tell everyone I'm allergic to pollen and dust. And I think you know the reason why. I think you know the reason why. You're my brand new best friend. Thanks to you, I can pretend that all my symptoms, they last. I tell them I'm allergic to pollen and grass. Hey, fever, you're my greatest alibi. Thanks to you, I tell a little white lie. Moving on, I know I must, but I tell everyone I'm allergic to pollen and dust.